Good morning, boys and girls. Today, we are going to talk about segments of time. We have been talking about segments of time, so this is going to be more of a review. And then after we get done reviewing, we are going to move on and talk about some important events that has happened in our history. Now, our standard that we have been talking about and using for these lessons came from the ALEX website, and it's for history, and it's number 4. It's using vocabulary to describe segments of time, including year, decade, score, and century. So now, what is time? Can I have a volunteer to read the definition of time? April? Good job. As April said, that time is the indefinite continued progress of existence and events in the past, present, and future regarded as a whole. So now we have been talking about time, and we have been talking about 4 different parts of time: year, decade, score, and a century. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do an activity, a very fun activity that is going to apply what we've been talking about and actually putting them together. So what we're going to do is I'm going to call on a volunteer to come up to the board. Now what you will do is I have it broken up into 2 sections. It's a matching game. You will pick a word, so year, score, decade, and century. And then I will call on another volunteer to come up to the board and pick the corresponding definition that goes with that word. Okay? So before we get started, let's go ahead and kind of review. That way you know what questions I'm going to ask. Okay, so can anyone tell me what a year is? Scott. Good job. A year is 12 months. 12 months equals what? 1 year. Good job. So it's going to be like that. So you're going to have the 4 words, and then you're going to have the 4 choices. Okay? And we're going to go ahead and get started on this activity. Okay, as you can see on the board, we have the words and the definitions. Century, decade, score, and year are our choices for our words, and our definitions is 1 year, 10 years, 20 years, or 100 years. Okay, so who would like to be our first volunteer to come up to the board and pick a word? Rachel, thank you for raising your hand. Will you please come to the board? Which word would you like to start with? You can pick any of the words that you want to start with. A year? No problem. Good job. Okay, you can have a seat now. Can I have another volunteer to come up to the board to pick the corresponding definition? Ashley, thank you for raising your hand. Will you please come to the board? Now, we just reviewed what a year was, so this one should be pretty easy. Good job. Good job. Everyone give Ashley and Rachel a hand. Good job. Okay, so can I have another volunteer to come to the board? Nathan, thank you for raising your hand. Will you please come to the board? Y'all let him by. Thank you. Okay, what word would you like to use? Okay, you want to do score? No problem. Okay, you can have a seat now. Can I have another volunteer, please? Cole, will you please come to the board? Thank you for raising your hand. Okay, do you remember what a score was? Let's try it. No, that's not it. But thank you for trying, though. Good job. Can I have another volunteer, please? Austin, thank you for raising your hand. Will you please come to the board? What word would you like to pick? Century? Okay. Thank you. Who would like to be my next volunteer? Brooke, will you please come to the board? Thank you. Okay, what definition corresponds to century? Is it 10 years, 20 years, or 100 years? Which one? You want to do 20 years? Let's see. No, that's not right. But good try, though. Would you like to pick another one? Okay. Which one? You want to do century again? Okay. And can I get a volunteer? Brandy, will you please come to the board? Thank you. A century is, you're going to go 100. Let's see. Good job. Okay. Can I have another volunteer, please? Marianne, thank you for raising your hand. Which one? You want to do decade? Okay. No problem. Can I have another volunteer to come to the board? Javon, thank you for raising your hand. Will you come to the board? Okay. How many years is a decade? 10 years? Let's see. Good job. Okay, and last but not least, can I have two more volunteers? Crystal, would you come up, please? And Logan, will you please come up? Okay. Score. And Logan, how many years is the score? Good job. Everyone give yourselves a round of applause. Okay, so boys and girls, we have reviewed segments of time. And remember, segments of time, we're referring to a year, a score, a decade, and a century. those are the segments of time that we've been talking about. Now, time is what again? Let's go back and review. Oh, I went too far. It's the continued progress of existence and events in the past, present, and future regarded as a whole. And we talked about the 4 different types that we covered. And a year was 12 months, which equals 1 year. A decade was 10 years. Good job. And a score was 20 years. Good job. And what was the last one? Century. And how many years was a century? 100 years. That's awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause. Okay, so now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about important events that has happened in our history. And we will be using these words as, we'll be using the segments of time as we talk about important events. Okay, so boys and girls, if you would please get out your history notebook, we will talk about some important events. Thank you for your very good, undivided attention. I am so very proud of you.